Hello guys, welcome to the video, welcome to this channel if you've not been here before. Now you may have seen my recent video on ACC using the PlayStation 5 where we had a go at some single player modes and some open lobbies. Now we've got our safety rating up, we're going to have a go at the competition server. So today's race is at a random track. We've got 5 minutes of practice, 15 minutes of qualifying and then a 60-minute race with no pit stop rules. So the track it's given us is Circuit Paul Ricard in France, also the home of the French Grand Prix, but it's a slightly different track layout. We've got the long back straight without the chicane. So it looks like there's 14 drivers loaded up in this lobby. We've got the highest door number, which I think means we're the lowest ranked. But up the top you can see this is competition server 1 of 2. So I believe that means we are in top split. And I think the splits are decided by safety rating and car control and car consistency. So after a quick fiddle around with the setup, we headed out to do a little bit of practice and then it was time to move on to qualifying. So it looks like just 9 cars are going to take to the track for qualifying now. And again, this is one of the problems we had previously with ACC, is just these small lobbies. So let's go to the track then and see what happens. We've got a 15-minute session and after about 10 minutes we came across the line to set a provisional pole lap, and from there we were kind of happy with that. Whatever happens now, we're probably going to be near the front of the grid, so we just came back to the pits and then tried to work out how much fuel we needed for the race. Obviously it's going to be a 60-minute race and we're going to try and do it all without pitting, but I'm not going to try and do anything clever like underfuel the car and save fuel, because I haven't done any practice doing that on this game. So we're just going to fill it up so we can drive flat out for the full 60 minutes. So someone did actually beat our qualifying time in the end, but for some reason they're not taken to the start and they're starting from the pit lane, which means effectively we are starting in P1 then. So it's a rolling start. Again, I'm not massively experienced with these, so probably a little bit too slow at this point initially. But we're going to get the green lights then and away we go. Do we have a car up our inside? No, we don't at the moment, so I think we're going to be able to turn into turn 1 and take the racing line. Obviously, if you look at the tyres, they are completely blues, are very, very cold, and we're probably just a little bit too cautious going through there, but we managed to keep the lead of the race. And you can see in the mirror the Bentley behind us has just run wide. We're obviously in the Bentley too then. It's a very, very stable car. I just really enjoy driving it on this game, and obviously living in the UK it's nice to drive on the right hand side of the car. Coming on to the extremely long back straight then, we can see the Bentley in our mirror behind, so he is probably going to start to pick up a toe now and look to challenge us towards the end. So we're just coming up to the point where you'd normally turn left in a Formula 1 car to get that chicane done, but obviously none of that in these GT3 cars, and you can see the Bentley now all over us. We're going to move to the inside of the track to defend for this very fast right-hander, and we just about get that done now. The tyres are starting to get a little bit up to temperature, but they're still not yet at their optimum. We want to have the pressures above 27 if we can. So as we head forwards onto the next lap then, we can see there's a bit of action up behind. The Ferrari in P3 is making a move and getting ahead of the Bentley. So it looks like that Ferrari has started quite fast in this race, and we run a little bit too wide, getting a bit distracted with what's going up behind us, and you can see the Ferrari all over the back of us now. So he's either managed to get his tyre pressures right up to their optimal straight away, or perhaps he's underfueled the car and may even need to do a pit stop in this race. We've got to remember there might be a number of drivers going for the 2 stop where we have fueled very heavy and going for the 1 stop, and you can see here going through this very slow tricky section towards the end of the lap, he's just a lot faster there. It gets a lot more traction out the final corner, and it looks like he's going to get past us on the straight then. We can see on the radar he is starting to move ahead, and looking down into turn 1 then, we're not going to do anything crazy. He's clearly faster than us at this stage of the race, and it is a very long race, so there's 55 minutes still left to go, and at this point there's absolutely no point in fighting too much. But you can see the Bentley there also getting a a run on us out of turn 2 then, and getting another move done on us. So we've dropped down into 3rd place then in just a matter of corners, and I was a bit disappointed with this, to be honest, but like I just said, it is a very, very long race, and we'll have to see what happens as it goes out and how it plays out. So coming onto the back straight then, we're just going to forward along a little bit here because it is a very, very long straight. As you can see, we are catching up with the Bentley up ahead though. Are we going to be able to do anything going into the fast right hander? No, he's just got enough speediness, and we go a little bit wide there and lose a little bit of time just avoiding those horrible little things on the outside of the curb. So jumping forwards then, and we run wide, as does Skywalker in the Bentley up ahead, and that allows Black Jojo in the Ferrari to get past us as well. So we've dropped down to 4th place now, so it's really not been the best opening couple of minutes for us. And as we jump forwards then ahead onto another lap, we go down into turn 1 and end up a little bit too late on the brakes and end up just drifting into the corner, and that allows the Bentley behind us to get a good run on us out of the corner. But this is the guy who was on pole, and he was on pole by over a second, I think. So we're just going to let him go at this point in the race. We're not going to fight it too much, because maybe we'll be able to tag onto the back of him and he'll help us get back up through the field, because we're dropping back very, very quickly at the moment. I'm thinking maybe I'm a little bit out of my depth here with these competition server races. So looking up ahead then, we can see the Bentley getting past the Ferrari, and we've not lost too much time on the last lap, and we're still able to stick quite close to the back of the Ferrari. So that's definitely promising. Maybe we'll be able to get him back later in this race and start making our way through the field at some point. Coming around the final corner then, and the Ferrari goes very, very wide, and we have to try and keep it very tight on the exit to make sure we don't end up hitting him. But that does look like we're side by side then, going down into turn 1. Can we be late on the brakes this time and get that move done, as we do get a whole car length up ahead, but then the Ferrari just a little bit quicker into the corner. We're side by side as we go through turn 2, but the Ferrari gets a better exit and manages to keep hold of that position then, and we're unable to do anything as we head up to the right hander. So jumping forwards again then, and this is actually about 10 minutes further on in the race, and we've kind of settled into a rhythm. We dropped back from the Ferrari for a little while, but then we started to gain on him again, and now we're nice and close. But P1 has just pitted, so he scampered off into the lead far ahead of everyone else, but he has had to pit, so whether that's for fuel or tyres I'm not sure, but that has promoted us into 4th place, as we see the Ferrari run a little bit wide again, and then he runs wide again to the left-hander, and that enables us to get that move done. Up to 3rd place now then, and possibly looking to score a podium in our first competition server race. So now we're in a bit of clear air, and we cross the line to set 57.7, which is the same pace that the leader is doing 10 seconds up the road, and a second faster than P2 is doing about 5 seconds up the road. So keeping that pace up, it didn't take long until we were right on the back of P2 then. So he looks to be struggling on the tyres that he's on at the moment, and you can see the rear end of the car getting very sideways, and then he's understeering wide through the sharp right hander, and as we head onto the back straight then, it looks like we're going to be in a position to possibly go for a move, and he runs very, very wide then out on the Astro runoff area, I should say. Definitely no sign of Astro here at all, just some blue paint on the floor. So as we come alongside the Bentley then, we can see him change gear and drop back. I think it's a gear change anyway. He seems to be yo-yoing back and forward just a little bit. I'm not sure if that's something to do with the connection or whether it's him changing gears, but we've got the inside line then for the fast right hander, and we do get that move done and move up into P2 then. So 25 minutes left in this race, and we're back up to P2. Coming around the final corner then, and looking to the mirror, we can see the Bentley that we've just passed did have to make another stop. So that means we're probably actually in a better position than we first realised, and as we cross the line here, we do set a personal best fastest lap at 57.3, so the car's clearly starting to come to us now, and we're putting in some good lap times. And jumping forwards ahead in this race, we can see the leader's just put in a 1:58.4, but as we come across the line we do a 57.5, so we're nearly a second a lap faster than the leader at this moment with 16 minutes to go. A lap is just under 2 minutes, so by my calculations we are going to be right on the back of the leader by the final lap if we can keep this pace up. So as we come to 10 minutes left to go in the race, then we are just 5.5 seconds behind the leader and still on target to catch up before the end of the race then. And we're still putting in the good laps, although the pace has dropped off a little bit, so we're not catching at quite the rate we were previously, but it looks like the leader is having to save fuel, or possibly save fuel or struggling with the tyres. Either way, we are catching. Now we're just 3 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds behind now with 3 minutes to go. It's going to be very, very close. But as we go through the second to last corner, we go very wide and then get a little bit of oversteer as we head to the final corner, and that really compromises our exit coming out of there, and unfortunately that looks like our challenge for the lead could be over. So as we head around the final few corners for the last time then on the final lap, as the sun glistens through our dirty windscreen. Absolutely love that on this game, the way the windscreen transitions throughout the race and gets more dirt on it. So coming through the final corner then, we are just 2 seconds behind the leader and come across the line to finish in P2. So really enjoyed this race, first time on the competition server. You know, the standard of driving was actually really good from the other cars. We went side by side with many of them without incident, and the pace was really good as well. We were pretty evenly matched, so you know, the race is very enjoyable. I really enjoyed racing for an hour as well. I didn't get bored, even though it was a small lobby. I was thoroughly into it for the full hour, which was quite surprising actually. I think even on Gran Turismo Sport I would get bored if a race was an hour long possibly, especially when you know, you're running in clear air for quite a while. But really enjoyed it. I will try another one again at some point in the future, and maybe one that's not random track. I'm thinking that if it tells you what track's going to be on, it might be a little bit more popular. So we'll give that a go. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and as always, give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.